Hello and welcome back to Awakening to Your Story TV, the place to learn, get inspired, and be supported on the journey of life. I'm your host, author, emotional heart expert, and heart enthusiast, Alicia Hartzell. Today's question is something that we've all dealt with in some form or fashion, even if we didn't quite have language for it. Dear Alicia, how do I overcome self-sabotage? I have been able to get to a really good place practicing daily positive affirmations and gratitude. Everything seems to be on track, and I'm able to look at myself with a profound love. But then something happens, and I do something to mess it all up. It's different every time, but the end result is always the same kind of disappointment in myself. Sometimes it's eating crappy food. Other times, it's staying up way too late and setting myself up to fail the next day. It happens in every area of my life. Love, business, money, even friendships. You name it, and I have sabotaged it. How do I overcome this pattern of sabotage? It's a good one, right? Well, it's usually easier to overcome something if you know how it works. So let's look at the components of self-sabotage and how they work together. Now, per usual, we have to look at two factors that are at play against your humanity. We have love and we have fear. Then we have to look at what each component energizes within us. Now, love energizes your essential truth. This is the truth that is fundamental to who you are. Your divinity has woven it right into your humanity. Fear? Fear energizes your limiting beliefs. These are the beliefs that contradict your truth and were handed down to you from other people living through their fear and their limitation. We end up adopting these as our own, and in that action of adopting, we hide or constrict our truth. Now, these contradicting components, right? They are both pulling for your focus and your attention. You have your fundamental truth that you have been working on, right? That you've been working to return to with your gratitude and appreciation. You have been doing your affirmations and your gratitude practice, and you have been reconnecting to that love within you, right? But you also have your limiting beliefs. These are the things that have been layered over time and that are charged not only with your fear, but also with the fear of the people around you. Now, I want to use my pina colada beach analogy to help illustrate what is actually going on in your mind. Now, I go into extended detail about this in the starter kit, and you can always get that online. But for now, I just want you to visualize a big sandy dune covered in grass. This sand dune is like your mind. Every time you have a thought that is fueled by your limiting belief or fear, you walk across that grassy dune and you find yourself at a beach. This beach is covered with jellyfish. There's no shade at all, and the sand has tar in it and the water has sharks in it. It's all fear and pain and disappointment, right? Well, for years now, you have been walking down that same path of thought. You have been beating down the grass, so the sand is now showing. It's an easy path for your mind to go down. It's almost second nature, and it always leads you to that stinking beach, right? With all that fear. But as you start reestablishing your truth and plugging back into love, you find yourself walking down a different path of thought. This path is so different, and it leads you to a different beach, right? It's what I call the pina colada beach, where there's pina coladas and chase lounges and umbrellas, palm trees, and the water is crystal clear. You've been practicing staying on that path of thought. But the only thing is you've only walked down that path a few times in comparison to your fear path. The grass hasn't even been worn down yet. Can you visualize that beach and how wonderful it is, right? But the tendency is to follow the better marked path. This is where self-sabotage comes into play. You feel fully aligned with your truth and all that is waiting for you at that pina colada beach. But then you walk down the jellyfish beach path. Maybe it's because you don't feel like you deserve that beautiful beach. Or Maybe it's because you've become so accustomed to the pain of the jellyfish beach. Or maybe you just lost your way and then you end up punishing and shaming yourself for not knowing how to get back to the place that makes you happy. If you have a realistic illustration for these components and can figure out where you are and how you got there, then you can really get back to the place that you want to go. Now, the opposite of self-sabotage, if self-sabotage is to destroy and take down, would be to improve and create. So, you're improving your ability to walk down the path of love, and you are creating a definition around that path so that you can find it more easily, right? Each time you walk down that new path of love, you wear down the grass a little bit more. And then the grass on the limiting belief side gets to grow up and grow over. Self-sabotage is an indicator that you still have work to do in a particular area. If you understand it and use it, it can help you know where you stand with your truth. It can also create an illustration for the work that you still have to do. These two components, that are pulling for your focus and your belief, they no longer are working against you. They are working for you, showing you where to do the work. Now be gentle with yourself and remember, you're learning. Your capacity of heart is ever growing, and you are supported no matter how many times it takes you to find that pina colada path. So stay engaged in your information and keep owning your truth. And until next time, know that I am holding a place of love for you where your path back to your truth, it's undeniable. For more support, information, and inspiration, join me at awakeningtoyourstory.com.